ready.
Wow, these things keep coming on live so easily. Hey, what's up, guys? It's another episode of Off the Post, and I'm your host, DJ Redcap. Look, I'm wearing the heck cap of the deer one, the one that one of you guys said you actually like, so I'll wear it more. And we are doing the Houston Dash, yes, the Houston Dash Spotlight. This is always a fun spotlight, and as you can see, we have a special guest with us. I don't have that applause button for it. Oh, I got that echo. 1 second, because I still have my thing on. Oh my God, I have an echo in my ear. Okay, I cut it off. So, well, we'll go to our special guest first, and then we will see what the rest of these panelists that you already know a little bit about. See what they've been up to. So, Haley, how have you been doing?
Good. Good. Busy, but good.
Glad to have you back on, and I bet you have high expectations for this year, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course.
That's what I was expecting to say, of course. More so, yeah, there we go. All right, guys, we'll get more from Haley because we have a lot of stuff to talk to her about. Let's actually see what Danica's been up to.
I've been hanging out in DC working. My mom and grandma are in town, so I've been hanging out with them. So it's kind of been exciting.
Nice. And see, I like how you wear caps now. We're going to have an issue with that, but I like it, though.
To be honest, I didn't like what my hair looked like, so I put a hat on.
Well, I'm bald, so that solves that issue. All right, Jackie, what have you been up to?
Yeah, last week I worked a lot of hours, so I'm happy to relax this weekend and be back. It's been a while, once again.
I was saying to you earlier, I didn't even know you were still in the show, but I'm glad you came into here, and I'm glad to see you. Whatever your name is, what's your name?
Jackie,
okay.
You know it.
Okay. Welcome back, Jackie. That's what it is. Okay. As you know, if you want to say anything to us, you can use the hashtag WoSoTalk. If you have questions for our special guest, Haley, or you have questions for any of us. If you want to say anything to me personally, like you don't like the deer hat, then use the hashtag DJ Redcap, and I will not respond to you because I like this hat anyway. But let's get into the good stuff as we always do. We're going to talk to Haley first, a little bit about Houston, talk about the organization, and some special news you've probably even seen about her already. The retirement thing, that word. Oh, lucky. You get to retire. Yeah. So what's it like playing for the Houston Dash organization? How would you say it's been unique or just, I guess, enjoyable even? Or some good stuff you could tell us about that.
Yeah, well, I've always sort of talked about this. So this is my third season with Houston, and every year I think the organization grows a bit, but the one thing that has remained pretty consistent and really every opportunity that I get is the organizational culture in Houston is very inclusive. It's very team oriented. We don't put up with drama, and we don't accept that. We don't tolerate that. So I think a lot of the cattiness that you see with other female sports teams, you don't get that a lot with us. And in the past, I think it's been an age thing more than anything. Now this year, our team's quite a bit younger. The average age is like 24, I think. And me and Carly and Becca Morris kind of bring that average up a little bit. But I think this year it's also a maturity thing. We have a lot of younger players, but they've got players that they're experienced. They've played overseas or they played on national teams, and so they bring a little bit of a maturity level to them that I think a lot of 22, 23-year-old players don't typically have. So, I would say that's the best thing about playing in Houston. I hear horror stories from other players in the league, and one thing that we've really worked on hard is in major tournament years like last year and this year, reserves and amateurs can make or break your season. It's relatively easy to attract reserves and amateurs to come and play for you because the mere dream of playing in a pro sports league, especially the NWSL, in and of itself is attractive. But it's really difficult to retain those players just because they're not getting paid. They may not be seeing game time all the time. They may not see game time at all. So the key is to make those players feel appreciated and valued, and like the team invests in them. And I think our team does a really good job of that. And I think that that sort of culture is going to start paying off for us. If not this year, like soon. So yeah.
Right on, right on. It's good to know because, like I said, I'm always interested. Well, usually we have the supporters on, but I'm always interested about organizations because I have to interact with a lot of organizations just to even just talk to them about certain things we're going to do or if we're trying to do stuff with them. And some organizations are really hard to even interact with or even get in touch with. We won't say names, but other organizations are really open and friendly when interacting with you. And Houston has been one of those, so it's good to hear that. Yep, they definitely are a good organization to, like I said, interact with, I guess, from my standpoint. All right, I guess the next question we would ask you is, like, most memorable moment with the Dash?
God, I don't know. I mean, there's been a lot. I would say, the home opener was pretty massive. I don't think I'll ever forget that. We should have at least tied Portland. Bullshit. They called back that offside goal. Becky had scored in stoppage time. Beautiful. But I mean, that was pretty significant. I would say the games immediately following the World Cup were pretty huge. We saw a lot of increased turnout, and I know a lot of fans are upset because Mo and Kling and Carly didn't play in that game. But being a player and understanding the amount of stress that those guys went through in a span of 45 days, it's totally understandable on the player. And so I know that a lot of fans were frustrated, but it was nice just to get them back and have them there. And I mean, we get it. It's pretty hard on your body, especially when you're up there in age.
Right. Understandable. Yeah. And I guess finally we got to talk about that the big thing. You are retiring, right?
Yeah. So I had actually attempted retirement already.
Attempted.
In October, and I had talked to Randy and I said, I'm looking at going to law school in the fall of next year, and I really just want to take the time and spend the next 9 months with my family, and because I work a full-time job on top of playing, and I coach, and I own my own company, and I'm involved in politics and all sorts of stuff. So I don't have a lot of time. I barely sleep, so it was bad enough that Don Scott was giving me a hard time about not getting enough sleep. So I was looking forward to having a little bit of time, and he said he totally understood and wished me the best of luck and told me if I needed anything to reach out to him and let him know. And I had about 2 weeks off, and it was awesome. So great. It was workouts were going to the gym and getting on the elliptical for 45 minutes. Awesome. And yeah, that lasted 2 weeks. And then Randy called me and was like, could you just not retire? What would it take to get you to not retire? So we talked about some things, and it was a good conversation. We had a good talk, and it really came down to, we lost Ella and Aaron last year, and that was for us. And word on the street is I know a thing or two about leadership, so that might be a good idea to keep around. So I said, all right, I'll do it, and it's been a really good decision. I think, like I said, this is the best team we've put together. Eons better than what we put together the 2 previous seasons. So I think it's a really exciting time. I think it's a really good way for me to go out. I'm looking forward to retirement, but I'll always be involved in the game. I mean, I'll always be around. Playing takes up a lot of time. Sunday rec league, but I can't complain.
All right, cool. It sounds like you'll be busy after retirement anyway, so it's not like you're going to be just sitting around.
I don't function well if I don't have a million things going on. I become this sloth that doesn't do anything. I'm the least productive person ever, so I got to be on my schedule.
Good stuff. All right, guys, now we're about to the part of this where, we're good at this. Well, we're kind of good at it. We're going to talk about how we think the team's going to perform a bit this year. So we're going to start off with how the team performed last year, and then we're going to talk about some of the new signings and stuff and how we think they're going to impact the team. So we're going to start with our Houston Dash fan of the panel, Danica. Thoughts on how the team performed last year?
I think the team did great last year. I mean, obviously we were so close to getting to the. Well, I say we, obviously talking with a player on the team, so I guess that's kind of
No,
awkward. But anyways,
no,
yeah. I think that we were so close to getting to the playoffs. I was like, oh gosh, come on. But overall, I think the team did really good, and especially compared to what first or what was it, 2013 or 14? I'm getting my years mixed up. Performance. I think there's a lot of improvement there. I think what Haley was talking about. I think that we'll see a lot of improvement this year. Really excited to see this year. I think it'll be great. But yeah, I think it was good. It was exciting. And yeah, I think it's a good season.
Yep. All right. Now we'll go back to Haley. Who are some of the new players that you think are going to make an impact this year? Some of the new signings or rookies.
So I think our front line's pretty sick.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel Daly is talented. Man, she's talented. And she's got a great personality. She's got a lot of spunk. She's a great teammate, hilarious, makes me laugh. Scores great goals, fearless, great technically. I mean, she's gonna kill it. Rachel Daly's gonna kill it this year. I think Janine Becky as well. You know, she brings that international experience with Canada. You guys saw her in the game against Portland, and even against Seattle. She does some really great things. She coming over from England. She brings that experience too, and she can score some sick goals. She put one past me a couple preseason, and I totally did not see it coming. I thought she was gonna hit it back post for a cross, and she like bent it in this like sick, insane left-footed shot in the post, and I totally did not see it coming. And it dipped like right as it got to the post too. So, good. Yeah, I totally did not see that one coming. So she's pretty good as well. And then I think Amber Brooks, of course, like in the field, she's gonna do so well for us. I think between her and Tressa, Mo, Carly, I mean that's a really solid midfield.
Yep.
And to be able to have that sort of depth between the four of them, I think is going to be huge. It's going to pay dividends for us. And then we've got some really great reserves when our Olympic players are gone. We've got Chesley Strutherin and Monica Alvarado and Katie Heap, and they're really good. Really good as well, and I think that they could easily, on a roster size of 22 or 23, all be signed without a doubt. So, we've got great depth, I think, from across the board, and like I said, reserves and amateurs can make or break your season in a major tournament year, and I'm really confident in the group that we have this year. So, yeah.
Yep. I guess, like you said, there's one person that no one mentioned yet. Becca Moros. I thought that was a pretty good defender you guys picked up as well.
Oh, yeah, solid. Yeah, it happens so often. So recently, I don't even think about it. Yeah, Becca, that's a huge pickup. Like I said, 30. She fits in with the golden oldies like the rest of us. But again, it's an age thing. She brings a great perspective. She's got a lot of experience under her belt, and I definitely think that that's something that's going to pay off in the back for us. I know in the past, and even like heading into this season, a lot of people have been concerned about the back line. And Randy's got some tricks up his sleeve, and I think they're going to be pretty successful. I don't think it's as doom and gloom as everybody says it is. So,
right.
Yeah, that is a great pickup, if for no other reason than that level of leadership and experience that she brings.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I always thought she's been a pretty solid defender, and like I said, Amber Brooks too. That's like just gives you guys more depth in a midfield that I thought was pretty solid. You have like a Carly, and you have Morgan Bryan too, like national teamers in that midfield like that. And the other players you guys had last year were pretty solid when they were thrown in there. So it's going to be a good midfield, a really good midfield this year. Yeah. And then it's funny, like I said, up front, I really didn't know how good those certain players were, but I was always high on Ohio, which I'll talk about later. Yeah. And not like I say, if you got people that are going to bang in goals too, then it's going to, you guys are going to really do good this year from my expectations. Last year, just talking about last year real quick, like I said, I had this team pegged for the playoffs and like make it to the championship. Yeah. So it's like I'm expecting them again to, well, I guess I'll mention that later too, but I'm expecting them again to have another big season because I just was really high on this team, how they looked on paper. And like I said, they were almost there to just have one little bad spell in the end of the season that really kicked them off of getting that fourth spot.
Yeah.
But moving on, I guess we're going to look at players that we're going to think are have a big year for the team. You know, someone that might stand out. We'll start with you, Jackie. Who do you think will have a big season for Houston Dash?
Yeah, for me, I have Brooks and Morelos and Ojai, actually. You know, talking about Morelos and Brooks, they both bring championship experience, which I think is really important for Houston if they want to get to that next level. And then Ojai, you know, I think last year she struggled a bit, but she's an exceptional player. So for me, it's those three players.
All right. Danica, who are you looking forward to having a big season?
I think Andressa, I'm really excited to see what she does. I liked her a lot last season, and I think watching the Portland game, she seems to be doing some great stuff. I'm really excited. I think that she'll have a good season. Also, Ojai as well. I just think she'll have a lot of. I think what Jack was saying, maybe the end of this or the season didn't necessarily go as hoped. She still did well, just not as maybe expected. So I'm excited to see how that goes this year. And then also in goal, Henninger, if she gets the starting, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know, but I think I've seen some. She's been doing really good, and so yeah, I'm excited to see how that works out.
All right, so we know Haley likes Henninger. Who else are you looking for your team having a big season?
Well, I just want to say, you see a lot of haters. Randy will comment on this, and players on our team will comment on this, and I believe it as well that she is one of the best goalkeepers in the world, and people will say, oh, not even close. Well, I got to be honest with you, if I'm her teammate or I'm her team and I don't have that kind of faith in her, then I want her to know that I think she's one of the best goalkeepers in the world, and I absolutely stand by that. I train her day in and day out, and I got to tell you, this year, and I told Randy the same thing off to the side, I think this is the fittest I have ever seen her. Now, if you guys know anything about her, she is super fit, but I mean, all the way around. I mean, from an injury standpoint, from a mental, motivation standpoint, from her actual fitness level. I mean, just on the whole, I think is the best shape I've seen Bianca in. So, yeah, she's gonna have a huge season for us, and Lydia as well. That was a really great pickup for us as well. So, in the back,
Frozen?
Yeah. I didn't know if it was just me or.
No, it's fine. That always happens.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Just a little bit frozen. You're just a little bit. Anything? If not, I'll jump in. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll wait for her to get back. No, it's funny that Henning, she said it about
her shoulder,
Henning.
to break into the full team. So, and for,
Okay, I almost heard something. Almost.
am I here? Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good now. We can hear you again. You're back. You're back. Yep.
So where did you lose me at? Where was I at?
Was it back at the Henninger part? I think it was.
Yeah.
So was you were saying sitting next to her or standing next to her in goal or something like that, or not in practice?
She's the fittest I've seen her.
Yep. Okay.
And then as far as Kaylee.
Don't do it again.
I know she's trying to break into the full team.
Okay, it's good. Yep, you're good.
Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Yep, we heard that. You're good now. You're good now. I think it's gotten past a little lag. All right, you can go back. Yep.
So I think Kaylee has got a bit of a chip on her shoulder. I know she's trying to break into the full team. And I think that this season is the season for her to kind of prove that.
Yeah.
Guys, should I try and break off and then come back on?
Try that because it was slow. It was delayed. We were hearing it, so to just try to jump out and come back in. You should be good, probably.
All right, you guys. I'll be right back.
Yep. No, we believe you. We believe you this time. I'll just jump in real quick. Henninger, I rated her pretty good. That's why it's funny she said that because I've always thought she was a really good keeper too. I thought she was one of the tops when we got to see her play in the league. So it's weird that people are so down on her. Well, some people would actually be down on her because she's actually, if you haven't seen her play, then maybe you need to watch a game or whatever and watch her because she's probably one of the tops in definitely in the league, and I guess like I said around the world, even if you think about it. Talia High, I've been high on her for a while. Like some people said her season might have not been as good, but am I here?
Yeah, you are.
Okay, I seen it. Yep. She might have not as had as good a season as people were expecting, but I think she'll really step it up this year because I feel like she has national team potential. That's what we always look for, I guess, if you're going to be one of those type of people. So I think she's going to be a talent. Then you got the other players that you know are going to probably be pretty solid. Like Morgan Bryant stepped in when she did play, looked like a pro already because of all the experience she had with the national team playing against top talent. You know, Lloyd is going to do her thing and other stuff, but it's like a matter of I want to see like Becky, I believe it is, the Canadian international. I want to see how good she does when she gets her opportunity because she's banged in a few goals for Canada already. So I want to see if she actually fits into that role and scores a ton of goals for the guys. All right, so we don't have our special guest back yet, Haley? No. Nada.
No.
Well, I could do a little jig for you guys, but I won't. Is there any other that you're looking for? Yes, Jackie.
I think a lot of people are down on Houston because they lost their top goal scorer in Jessica McDonald. You know, she had 7 goals. Ohio had 4. But I think it can be a good thing for Houston. A fresh start, all these rookies, amateurs coming in who are really talented. Maybe compare with Ohio and kind of lift each other up, and they're going to be really solid. I'm excited to see what they can do with what they have.
Well,
getting Moros and
I guess I'll ask Danica about this. You guys know the rookie, wasn't it Kari Raccaro, the one that was like a big they were talking about her all through the just like I guess if you follow the U.S. Women's National Team like the youth a bit, they were talking about her all through the ranks as like this top talent coming through. Yeah. And then when Houston drafted her, everyone was like, oh my God, I think because of her injury, what are they doing drafting her and stuff? Danica, what do you think of her, if anything? Like, do you rate her, or you think when she's healthy she'll be a major asset to you guys?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I have faith in Waldrum, and I think that he has a good game plan. And so, yeah, I think if he thinks that she'll do great, then she'll probably do great, which maybe that's blind faith. I don't. But, yeah, I think it is. I think a lot of the confusion with drafting her was also just because no one really knew what the shape of the team was going to look like. So the idea of having a injured player, like, while you're still, like, trying to figure that out seems like really, that's what? But I think now that we are actually, like, fitting it all together, I think when she gets back, because from what I read, she seems to be, like, really, like, quality, like, really top quality. I just said that. But, yeah, so I think I have faith. I think it'll work out. Maybe it's blind faith.
Well, no, that's the thing, though. I used to hear so many good things about her coming up through the ranks as a youth. I'm just trying to make sure, like, she's got it, like, her link is good. But, yeah, I used to hear so many good things coming up through her. And then when she was drafted, it just ripped her, everyone. I was like, well, this wasn't expected. I was like, I thought that she was one of the top-rated, I guess, just U.S. defenders coming up, young defenders. So it was a bit weird. But just like how people are down on Houston this year, I guess, is weird to me. I can understand. There's always a team you think isn't going to do as good as last year. I guess I could say this now. I guess I'm kind of more so thinking a bit about the spirit. Like, they're going to have a rough season and might struggle to even get in, if not get in at all. They might be like right there. But just people just seem really just like don't have a faith, I guess, in Houston with a lot of from what I've been reading or hearing from a lot of people. And I guess that is what it is, because you got to choose one team you're going to be down on. But I just can't. I mean, unfortunately, Danica was your team. So
I know. It's okay. When we win, that's when we'll laugh in your faces. I'm just kidding.
I mean, I have faith in them.
Thank you.
What's that, Jackie? What's that, Rain fan?
I do. I really like it. I appreciate it. Let's go.
All right, guys. I'm gonna check real quick just to check on and see if she's needs another link or anything. While that's happening, I guess I can talk about that contest, and then we'll we'll actually finish up the show with what we have to say. There's a contest off the post. Do you guys know about that? Have you guys heard about that contest?
Sort of.
Yeah, it's a contest where you get something free. The free scarf contest, yeah, because I know that it's been shared out a lot, but no one's really subscribed to it or went about it. So if you'd like to win something free, the first person that sends me anything mentioning the contest will get a free scarf. Really? It's that simple? Yes, it's become that simple because no one has followed the rules or even sent anything for the scarf. So, if you send me anything, if you send me a picture of an apple sitting on your desk, then I will send you a scarf of your favorite national team. So, I mean, not national, your favorite NWSL team. It's that simple, guys. So,
Our
be sure
panelists
to do that.
excluded.
Yeah, panelists are excluded, sadly, because I remember last year panelists kept trying to win prizes and stuff, and I'm like, you ain't getting into my bank account. I'll hook you up when we hang out, but I ain't hooking you up that way. But other than that, I guess we can probably, let's see, we can wait for Haley by burning more time and talking about stuff that's going on in her life, like love and basketball and soccer and all that good stuff. It's weird. We've never had this with special guests, so I'm kind of like, just talking about other stuff. I think that's it. Oh, yeah. I think the next on April 5th, I think we are actually going to do the Spirit. So tune in for that Spirit spotlight. That's going to be a pretty good one. If you guys are into watch the Spirit, like I said, it's the one of those teams to me that's like going to be on that 4th or 5th line battling, which is fun for us because it's going to be a lot of teams this year that are going to really try to sneak into that 4th spot. Like I said, a lot of people were high on Portland, talking about them as like a lock for the playoffs because of how talented they are. But I'm hoping that for them it's not just as easy and it's more so a chemistry issue that kind of forces them to have to battle for that 4th line too. Because you got to remember, it's not going to be that easy for all of these teams. For Houston, FC Kansas City, who else are guys talking real high on? Yeah, well, they're fighting for 1 or 2, so I don't really think about them. It's like there's like about 4 or 5 teams, like 3 teams, like fighting for 3 or 4. So it's not going to be like 4 teams can't get in. So you guys, that's one thing I worry about. Let's see. Any of you guys have anything else going on? Are you guys going to any games? Checking Haley's message for me. Let's see what's up. Okay.
We should place bets on how many goals scores.
What's that now, Jackie? What's that, Jackie?
I said we should place bets on how many goals Ohio scores. I have her scoring 10 this year.
Ooh.
So
you have her scoring
like,
10 goals this year? Ooh.
I do, yeah.
Okay, Danica, how many you got her scoring?
Wow. Well, I feel like I have to like one up her.
And I'm back
Just yeah.
Hey.
Yay! But I gotta hear this. Wait a moment, because I want to do this. This is gonna be fun. Danica, how many you got? You can't escape now. You can't escape now.
I know. I'm going to simply.
I
feel the one. What was it?
It was 10. I had 10.
You got 10 goals for her?
I'm gonna say 11.
Oh crap, dude! You guys are like predicting like within an NWSL season. That's like a Ronaldo type year if you guys have it for like Ohio right now.
Yeah, but I think you do it.
I'll give her about. I'll say she'll score about like 6. I think she can do, and that'll be that's a solid NWSL season though.
It is.
You guys are saying like 11 and like. All right, Haley's here, so we can finish up and do what we got to do to finish up the show. Welcome back, Haley.
Thanks.
Sorry, we just started like just GSing on here for the last couple minutes. The viewers went down so quick, and I'm like, please stay. We're trying to keep you back. Okay, now we're going to do the fun part of this where we predict where the team's going to end up in the rest of the season.
Okay.
So we will go to Haley last, and we'll go to Danica second to last. So the Rain fan, let's get her out of the way, thank God. Jackie, where do you think they're going to end? Houston's going to end up this year?
Yeah, well, I'm really high on Houston right now, and I have them finishing in the top 5. I'm not going to say where because I don't want to jinx it, but somewhere in the top 5. Hopefully close to, like, the top 3. So.
Well done. That'll keep Haley coming back for us, so we appreciate that you said top 5. She didn't say top 4, so remember that.
Yeah.
Danica, where do you have Houston ending this year?
As like the pure fan, you gotta say 1, obviously. But I'm gonna say top 3, top 2, top 3, top 2. 2.
Oh, you guys are so nice and generous, you know. All right, Haley, it's your turn.
The playoffs. I say we're gonna make playoffs.
Yep.
Really following that, depends on a lot of things, but I'm pretty confident that we'll make the playoffs. For sure.
No, I can agree with that. I have Houston. I really do think they're a team that can make the playoffs. Last year I had them in the championship, but it's like one of those things where it's one game, and in any sport where you play one game, we can always say this. Look at the NCAA tournament. Anything could happen. I think they're going to have last year, like I said, they hit like a little lull. I think this year they're going to be solid overall, especially like even with the whole Olympics and stuff. I think they'll have like reserve stuff that'll come in and they'll hold it. They'll do good enough to keep this team where they're going to need to be, because every team's going to have, well, hopefully a lot of other teams are going to have to deal with it too, I think. So, I don't know, I've just been so high on this team. I like how he sets up. I like how you guys are just like one of those fun attacking teams to me, in my opinion. I don't know, sometimes like watching games against you in Chicago, I'm like, well, at least I know Houston's going to go for it, and then Chicago's just going to be possession-based, fast type of thing. You guys go for it and fun and like team to watch, and I don't know, I'm just used to fun attacking teams, especially with like the players you have. You guys, you know, so it's one of those teams that I'm really high on, and I was high on you guys last year. I think you guys should be like, I would like to see you guys in the championship fighting against who I have. Who's my second team in the championship? It's Chicago. It would be nice to see these two teams facing, because it would be, like I said, different styles playing too, and then it would be a real fun game. And
Yeah.
But then anything could happen or whatever. But yeah, I definitely see playoffs for this team, top 4. And that's that. I mean, I could brag about you all day if I wanted to, but I got more shows to do that on. So you guys better start winning for me for sure this year. I don't want to be wrong again.
Well, I mean, we got Chicago on the 16th, so I think that'll be good.
Okay, cool. And Haley, is there anything else you want to say about Houston to anyone that's watching right now?
No, I mean, I missed like 10 minutes of the show, so.
Hey, we did a good job trying to like fill in. I know she was gone. I was like, I don't know when she's coming back.
Like, we gotta entertain the people.
Yeah.
I didn't have to dance for you, so.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have questions for me? I mean.
Yeah, actually, Danica, questions?
Yeah, well, with like the losing Aaron and Ella, and then with you eventually or retiring, who do you think's gonna take over like the leadership role now? That's kind of, as you've mentioned, being such a young team.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. It's I don't know. It's kind of a mixed bag. So it's a group of a lot of players with a lot of potential, I think, to fall into that role. You know, I think with Carly is very much a leader, but she's kind of like the silent leader that sets the example. And the bottom line is that she's not here all the time. So you have to have another couple of players that can sort of fill that role.
Right.
I think that there is opportunity for Bianca for sure. I think also Kaylee is going to step into that role. You know, she's a lot more mature this year than she was in her rookie season. She's grown a lot as a person and a player. And I think, you know, absolutely she has the potential to fill that role. And I think that you can see with Randy giving her the armband recently, you know, I think she's relishing that. I think she'll do well. And I think it's an opportunity sort of to develop that skill set in her. So, you know, Steph Oaks, same thing for Steph Oaks. I think Steph Oaks has the potential to kind of fill that role. She would hate to admit it, but she's getting older too. So she's not going to be young forever. You know, and of course with Becca, you know, I think she kind of fills that role too. So, you know, everybody's growing and everybody's maturing, and I think it'll be fine. I think people will fill into that role. I'm sure, like, if Randy needs to call me to come and have me, like, slap a few players around, I'm sure he'll use it. But you know, I'm confident that there's a pretty good, like, succession plan in place. I think as it were. So yeah.
Jackie, do you have any questions?
Yeah, actually. So growing up, what athlete or person inspired you the most?
That's a good question. So I've always been a huge fan of Michelle Akers.
Yeah.
Michelle Akers fan. You know, yeah, I just her hair. Like, I've got super short hair, so like, the struggle's real. Okay.
Get some volume.
Yeah, no, but it's you know, her work ethic, I think was always second to none. The amount of sacrifice and dedication she had for her team, she always put her team first. Was willing to go the extra mile regardless of what it might mean for her, or you know, and talk about, like, playing through the pain. I mean, she's done some amazing things, and even now, like, you know, she's she has a great personality and is a great leader, even still to this day. So, yeah, I would definitely say that she was my my number one like athlete that I like aspired to be like. Yeah, of all the women's national team players of the '90s, she was like it for me. So.
Cool.
Right on, right on. Good questions, guys. Definitely. You guys are probably wondering if I have a question. Well, that whole topic list for all my questions. So no, I don't have one actually. I did everything.
Nothing off the cuff. Seriously, I'm disappointed.
Oh, I mean, I usually think of something, but I was like, I mean, they kind of asked, like, she asked about like kind of the ones I wanted, so it kind of like killed mine. So.
I mean, does that mean that me and Danny could get a second question, or?
Sure. Jackie, since you stole my question, Jackie asked my question, so Jackie asked another one.
Okay. First of all, Haley, do you read a lot? Are you a big book reader?
I am. Yeah. When I have time, but yes, I am. I
was going to ask if you had any recommendations for fans.
So most recently, I read a book by a guy named John Gordon. It's about it's like win in the locker room first. When we talk about like earlier the meeting before I like jumped off. We talk about organizational culture and leadership in the locker room and in life. It's a great book. Kind of talks about positivity and energy and making your athletes feel valued, which for me, because I also have a corporate job, like translates directly to the I have employees that report to me, and so it's good on a lot of levels. And coming from the military and having that sort of leadership background and structure, and I mean, like, I went to college in what's considered like the leadership laboratory. So, I graduated having a pretty solid concept of setting the example and kind of do as I do type mentality. So, but I'm always learning, and I'm always looking at different perspectives on things. And John Gordon, really all of his books are amazing. So I totally recommend any of his books. But yeah, if I'm gonna read, I'm gonna use the time wisely. So
I actually have a question because it's funny. I forgot it. It was about the. You say you're going to law school, correct? What type of law are you interested in?
So it's funny, with the lawsuit that none of us are allowed to talk about.
What? There's a lawsuit? No, just kidding.
Right, I didn't hear about that.
So I'm thinking that so I'm going to University of Houston Law School, Law Center. I'm in the fall, so because I still have a job. And I am thinking that after talking to some of my friends who've also have gone part-time and have jobs and whatever, I'm probably going to, after my first year of law school, take every sports law class that I possibly can. And then just take a class that preps me for the bar so that I can pass the bar. But more than likely, it's going to wind up being some sort of sports law. I have a corporate job and it's great, and I don't know that I necessarily want to start my career over because I have an MBA and I'm doing like pretty primo. But I think that by number one, going to law school is going to make me better at what I do right now. I negotiate really big contracts. And it's going to make me better at what I do. But I would like my focus to be on sports, if for no other reason than my teammates don't get paid very much. No. And I think any amount of like labor and employment legal counsel that they can have and seek, I want to be able to provide that. So even if it's something that I do on the side, like pro bono or whatever, I want to be able to do that. And not to mention the fact that like I've got the network, my friends are all across the world, playing soccer, and so whereas I would not represent them as an agent because I think agents are overrated, you're practically paying somebody to be your friend. I would represent them in any other sort of legal capacity. Of course, if they would take me, but I can be very persuasive.
Yeah.
And I guess we will end it with Danica.
Let me ask a question. Yeah. Okay. So speaking of like the low pay, because I feel like people talk about how that's gonna like make people not want to play in the league just because of that. Have you found that like kind of among the players that's actually the case, that people are hesitant or maybe want to play overseas because of that?
Seen the amount of retirements that have happened in the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, the bottom line is, it's great that there's an opportunity to play, and I'm certainly not going to bash U.S. Soccer or the league because, that's why we have the opportunity to do this. But the fact of the matter is, it's really hard to make the argument to get players to play here when they're making sub-poverty.
Right. Yep.
So, I mean, from a economic standpoint, it's insane that we can continue to get girls to play year after year, making that kind of salary. Now, I understand capitalism, and I get how business works, and I get, how we generate revenue and the costs of the league, and we kind of have to keep it low in order to sustain the league. But on the same token, it puts a lot of pressure on players and a lot of pressure on their families because these girls, most of them are young. They're coming out of college. Granted, a lot of them don't have any debt with college because they've got scholarships, but their parents are keeping them on insurance plans, and they're helping with their car insurance and their car payments and housing assistance, and you're putting a lot of pressure on those families as well. So, it's tough. It's interesting though. Like Monica Alvarado lives with me. I'm her host mom. But she has a full-time job as well, and it's flexible for her, so she can continue to play, and I can continue to play, and it works out. Hosting her because we have the same schedule basically. We both go to training and then we go to work and then we come home at like 7:30 or 8. So, but yeah, I mean, I get it. That's life and that's the market. But it's certainly, when I talk to rookie players coming in or some amateurs, especially goalkeepers, because there's only so much game time you're going to get in the league, and there's already 2 contracted players. So even if you get called up as a reserve, the likelihood of seeing game time is really minimal. And for goalkeepers, the number one thing is to get time. You got to have game time.
Yep.
And that's just a fact of life. If you want to, progress in your career, you got to have game time. So, when I talk to rookie players, and even like Kate Shield, who is our rookie goalkeeper that came into preseason, I talked to her back in February, and I said, listen, at some point this summer, you're going to get an opportunity to go and play in Europe, and when you do, you need to take it because you have the opportunity to make a lot more money than you're going to make here. You can expand your career. You need the experience because you're young. And then you can always come back and try and compete in the league. But, I'm always encouraging younger players to go overseas because there's a lot of opportunities there, and they can always come back to the league.
Right.
You need that experience. So an opportunity did come up for her to go to Sweden, and she called me and she said, "Well, I'm in a bit of a pickle. What do I do?" And I was like, "Don't be stupid. Take it and run." And because I told her, I said, you only get to do this once, and you're only going to be in your early 20s once, and you need to live it because you don't want to wake up at 31 or 32 and regret it. I truly lived in my 20s. I don't regret a single thing. I would do everything over just the way that I did it. So I do. I actively encourage players to go overseas if the opportunity arises. Just because, not necessarily the salary, but I think on the whole, it's an important experience, and I think it's important to progress in your career. So.
Nice. Thank you for that. This just in, somebody actually won the scarf contest. That's what I was looking at. Someone sent me a picture of an apple. His name is Michael Mass. I begged for anyone to send anything, so he's now won the contest. So I guess I'll just dash scarf. I'm guessing that's his team since he watched this spotlight. So thank you for doing that. The guy literally sent a picture of an apple, so I guess that's how the contest will end. I think that's everything. So let's thank our guest, special guest Haley, right? Thank you, Haley.
Yeah, thanks. That was awesome.
Sorry,
Yeah.
halfway through. Hey, I got a question, actually.
Yep.
Danica, you're in D.C.?
I am. I'm in D.C.
Like, how difficult is it being a Dash fan in D.C.?
Oh my God, it is crazy. Well, first of all, everyone's Spirit fan, so yeah, we are great for you.
It's like primo.
Wait, so yeah, well, and it's just well, also with the time difference, it's just noticing that I'm worried about. Thankfully, I'm leaving in a couple of months, so I'll be back on the West Coast, but yeah, it's not people in DC.
Well, that's cool. They've got a fun group though. I like their fan base. Their fan base is really cool, but obviously they're bound by honor not to support me, so I get that. But I respect it.
That's great.
No, yeah, the Spirit Squad down there is pretty cool. They're fun to hang out with during the games and stuff. They really get a lot into it, yeah. So.
Joe Loman, and she always has really great things to say about them, and they have really great things to say about her as well. So.
Nice, nice. All right, guys, I guess I'll wrap it up. That was another episode of Off the Post. And actually, haha, funny, next week it's like April 5th. Our next spotlight is the Washington Spirit Spotlight, where we would talk all things Washington Spirit, and I will brag about that team a little bit, even though I have them outside the top 4. So they're going to hate me, but nonetheless, this is a fun episode. We had a special guest, Haley Carter, so thank her. Everyone, a round of applause, and we will see you guys pretty soon. But we have to teach our special guest learning how to speak again in life, how we leave each episode. So you raise your right hand, Aileen. Raise that right hand up in the air, and you start to wave to that camera so nice and gently that they are happy. And there you go. So bye-bye, guys. We will see you next time. Take care.